I used to always abandon myself to please others. And now I stopped doing that. I started to set boundaries, and it's amazing how you feel after you start doing that and how more energized you are and safe you feel with yourself. So this video is going to discuss setting boundaries and how I started to do them. Setting boundaries. I never used to set boundaries, to be honest. And I think the issue with that is, like, and this happened so many times in the past with like friendships mainly. Well, actually, I think everything, all aspects, to be honest. It's not even just friendships. It was like relationships with like family members and, men and people, right? Like friends. And the thing that always happened was like I would never set boundaries. And then I would do and do and do. And I would keep overextending and keep giving and giving and giving. And it was draining to me. And then I would snap. And then all of a sudden now it's like, oh, okay, now she's being rude or she's being mean or now I don't really want to be a friend. And it like ruined a lot of friendships that way. Especially when considering that I could have just like said something about it, right? Like said something about the situation and that I can't keep doing that. And realizing that if they really care about me and want me in their life, and actually not necessarily if they really care about me, because that's another thing I learned too about boundaries, setting boundaries, which I'll go in also. But I think when you set boundaries, the people who are meant to be in your life will respect that, encourage it, and they won't, the friendship won't be ruined because of that. The issue when you don't do that and you don't set boundaries is it's natural for people to continue to take if you're constantly giving. And when and it doesn't make them bad people or anything, or, takers. Sometimes you do meet takers, but it just means you're giving. So they think, oh, she's good. It's your responsibility to set boundaries. And it is the most loving act you can do for yourself. Well, not the most. There's so many other ones too, but it is a big one. Setting boundaries is just a beautiful way of saying, I love you to yourself. I want to make you feel safe. I want to make you feel hurt. So you need to understand that like everything in life is a reflection of how you feel within yourself. So if you're not setting boundaries with other people, huge chance that you're not doing it with yourself. And when you're doing that, then you're constantly abandoning yourself. So you're telling yourself that my needs don't matter, that it's okay if I feel drained and I'm not listening to myself. Like, it's like your inner child saying, like, listen to me. Like, I can't keep doing this way. And so in the past, I would just let it all pile up, and then my inner child would just have a little tantrum. And then that would, like, people would be like, well, I don't want to deal with this, right? Not only that, it's like not a very mature thing to do either. Like, I am my own person and I take care of myself, as everybody else should in that sense. But I feel like I was never taught to set boundaries. And I feel like from a family figure in my life that, also was like that too. So it like watching them be like that made me emulate that too, like become that a bit. But now I'm older and I can like be more aware and see that and change that. So for me, I always struggled with setting it. And the thing too about setting boundaries is like when you don't have them and people are so used to you being like that and you start setting them, people get thrown off by it, right? Like people, they don't really, it's like, what's going on here? Like, she's different now. And like people who benefit from me not having boundaries will not like them, not like the idea of me having them. And that's okay. Those people can go. If you can't respect my boundaries, then that's fine. I don't want you in my life anyways. I rather have people in my life who respect me and care about me enough to know that like I'm setting this because I need this for myself. The other thing too is there's like being on the other end of being like people setting boundaries with you. And the reason I'm bringing this up is like obviously like I love that my friends have boundaries and that's amazing. I love that my family members. Like, I love that people have boundaries. I think that's an amazing thing for people to have, and I think everyone needs it. And I admire people who are really good at setting it too, because it's something I'm working on right now. But the thing is, like, being on the other end of it, depending on the situation, like, yeah, there's times that I've had people set a boundary with me, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, like, that's fine. But the thing with the boundary is their boundary contradicts with what I need from this relationship. So they are unable to give it to me because they have this boundary that's saying that I can't give this to you. Fine. I love that for you. That's amazing. I'm very happy for you. But then I'm going to have to not be in this friendship or this relationship, because now you're still you're telling me like my needs aren't important. And I love that you have that boundary and you do that for yourself, but then that means that we need to rethink this friendship, because again, it sometimes can be a one-sided thing, right? Especially when it's a boundary that I would never set with them, right? And in that case, then I have to look at it and say, like, okay, like I love that they have boundaries. That's amazing, but I'm going to walk away from this friendship and put my energy somewhere else. And that's just what you need to do. And that happens all the time. And then, you know what, honestly, it clears out those people who aren't meant for you, or maybe they're meant for you through that time. Then it clears it out. And then you meet people who have similar boundaries to you, possibly. And then they like still give you the needs you need. Like it's just it's a better relationship, a better fit. And sometimes life happens, like especially as you become an adult and you start having like family and kids and stuff, and your dynamic changes and stuff. Your boundaries will change too, and what you can give to people will change, and that's totally fine. But at the same time as setting your boundaries, people could set boundaries for you, and sometimes you have to walk away from those people because you're like, that boundary, like it's something that I feel great for you, but not good for our friendship. Like it's not something. And people will set boundaries too, and then the friendships fall apart. Like they just fall away because now they're like, oh, well, now I'm not getting what they used to give me, right? I've had that happen too in the past, where I've set, when I do set a boundary, and I realize now when being older and looking at it, that the friendship stopped because I stopped giving to them. I said, hey, I can't do this anymore. I can't give that way. And then the friendship stopped. Fine too. That's amazing. Great. Now it's again, the universe is just clearing out so that my people can come in, the people who fit with me better. Setting boundaries can be very difficult when you're not used to it. And my suggestion is on setting a boundary is first to find out be clear of what your boundary is. Like what is going on that you need to set a boundary for. Like, are you feeling drained, overextended, overwhelmed? Like, what is going on? And be clear of what the boundary needs. Like, what do you need? Or what do you not need, right? And then the second thing is, to communicate your boundary clearly. So saying, stuff like using I feel, or I need, or I am, helps doing that. And then, stand on it. Don't, you don't have to explain yourself either. You can set your boundary and be like I am unavailable, or I am not going to do that. And it should be like that. That should be it, right? You don't have to explain. No means no. It's just, how it should be. And stick with your boundary without guilt. That it's a big, before I would get super anxious. I'm like, oh no. I would get super anxious. And you know what I realized too? The reason I would get really anxious is because I used to, in the past, had the mindset that I need to attach to people, and I would attach to them. And I would do everything I could to make sure that they were happy so that I don't lose them. But in doing so, I ended up not being happy, drained, overextended, and losing myself. Also, I didn't lose these people because in my mind, I thought, this was it. If I don't have these people, I'm not going to get new people. I really like these people. But the funny thing is, not only do you get, it comes in waves. You're going to get new people, and people are going to come, they're going to go, and then you might, maybe in 3 years, people that you were friends with back then, they're now your friends again. It will always change. So never feel like you need to, show up in a way that you can't for other people. and make sure you're always like your needs come first. Because when you don't do that and you don't set boundaries and you people please, basically, that's what it is. You're like basically telling your inner child that you don't matter and that you're not being heard. And when I started setting boundaries, like at first I was super anxious, but now I'm like in a more calm state. Like I'm like, I kind of like, I'm happy. Like now I don't actually have to go do that. Like now I'm like happy. I'm speaking up for myself. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more I do it, I can like feel my inner child being like, yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. You got my back. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you. And doing that, the more happier my inner child is, the more happier I am outwards. And I'm able to be a better, mom, better partner, a better everything. So it's super important to have boundaries, because you know what? If you don't have boundaries, people will take, and they may not purposely want to be taking, but you're giving, and they are used to it. And also just be aware that when you start making boundaries, it's going to be uncomfortable, just like you're doing anything new. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at. And I promise you, it will change. It will change so drastically the way like life is, and you'll have more energy for yourself, confidence, and trust. Now you're building trust with yourself because you're setting boundaries and you're saying my needs matter, and you're making decisions that are good for you. And in doing so will make you, like the trust within yourself so much more better. And you'll begin to make decisions and like not be anxious about making them because you trust yourself. Like I'm a good decision maker, so I trust that this decision is the right one. And if people leave your life, then that's okay, because like the universe wants people in your life. They want you to have the right people for you at the right time. So don't ever worry about that. You may go through seasons of being alone because of, different dynamics. They're just seasons. Everything, like, they're coming to you. Your people are looking for you just like you're looking for them. So don't ever worry about that, and don't get attached to people in that sense that you do not have boundaries.